Hi, I'm Dan. This is Vinyl Fury. So, if you've been watching any of my videos for more than a year, you've probably seen me show and talk about this record, the first album from Third Eye Blind, self-titled 1997. And yes, I have shown several different copies or pressings of this album, and this is another one, but this is a special one, I think. So first I have the pressing that the band manufactured in 2013. It's a double LP and a single jacket. They all are. And it was available for something like $35, which was 10 years ago. That was, pretty steep, but I got it in blue and Out of the Vein, and all of them have been out of print several times over the years and hard to find and go for a lot more than they should, more than 35. So I was really happy with this. I thought it sounded good. Pressing was okay. I think it was done at GZ, and they're usually, fine. But the music sounded great, and I didn't think I needed more than that. And then eventually I heard really good things about the music on vinyl pressing, which was not surprising to me. Music on vinyl generally does really good stuff. The pressing quality is always great. They press their records at Record Industry, and they're fantastic. So the music sounds more or less the same, but the pressing quality on this is definitely better. Now, I've read, I think in more than one place, that the 1997 metalwork was used for this, but I don't know if that's the case, and we'll get to that. Within the last year, Rhino did their own reissue, and are they all on the gold version of the jacket? They might be. And there's some color variation, I believe. This is on a opaque gold vinyl. And again, the music sounds good. Pressing quality, I haven't listened to it again since I cleaned it, but the first time around it was fairly, there was noticeable surface noise. But if I didn't have a copy otherwise, I would still be pretty happy with this. And even this was 35 or less. And I think you can still find it right now. Maybe the black copy would be the way to go. So that's 3 different copies. Some would say too many, especially for that album. Not a lot of people might understand why somebody would be so attached to this album. But I really am. It's a time and place. I think the songs still hold up very well. I mean, you got huge hits on this record, but the best stuff is the second half. And I'll listen to this for the rest of my life, I think. Because I like it so much, I've always wanted an original pressing. And those are, understandably, hard to get for a reasonable price. Discogs, you'll see it for about $200 right now. But on eBay, I saw one that the starting bid was, well, let's just say under $100. And it was sealed, mind you. And I thought, well, if I'm ever going to get it, this is the best shot I've ever seen. So I'm not gonna bid high. I'm not gonna go nuts here. But what if I got it for under $100 and it was sealed? That's like half the price, really, that you would normally expect to see that. So I put in a bid, and somehow I was the only bidder, and I got a sealed copy of an original pressing of Third Eye Blind. Same scenario, single jacket, double LP. It's got a cutout there. Unfortunately, it has been sealed for 25 years, and both records, at first I thought were just a little bit warped, but when I played them, it's not a wave, but it's pretty sharp up and down. So the stylus is, especially on the outside. Once you get past the first song, it starts to get better. That first song on each side pretty much is a little nerve-wracking, and this would be something that I wish I had a vinyl flat or whatever the newer one is. I've never quite felt the need to get one of those, even if they're only $200. How many records do I really need to use that for? This would be one of them. So, sounded great. It struck me as being probably, even if it's only a little bit, the best sounding version. And the reason I say I don't really understand how the metalwork could have been used for the MOV is because the etching, the dead wax, is different. Most MOV is only the catalog number etched in, which this has more than that. But this is a very well engineered and recorded album, so pretty much any version of this is going to sound great. But this was very dynamic sounding to me, punchy, soundstage was really great, guitars were nice and clear, and everything was just about as good as I can imagine it being. Unless it was a little bit flatter, then it would have been perfect. But here it is, the fourth and, God, I have to imagine last copy I will have of this record. But what a cool thing to finally get something that you really, really want. And this is definitely one of those. And I think the cover is actually the best looking. Music on vinyl is, you can see, a little bit darker. Actually, quite a lot darker. I wonder what they used to get that. That looks like a copy of a copy of a copy. The band version is closer, but you can tell the original is definitely a more vibrant, and there's more detail in the face and the hand. Definitely the best. Oh, and another thing I thought was interesting. This is Kevin Cadigan, I believe is how you say his name. The original guitarist, or at least in this lineup, the late 90s, and one of the main songwriters of this era. And you can tell it's him, even though he's got sunglasses on and either a hoodie or a beanie or something. In every other version of this, he is way more in shadow. So it's a much more indistinct. Every copy looks like that. Because after 2000, when he was, I think, let go of the band, there's been a continuous contention between them, and, fans have debated over all of this for years, and there's been legal battles and stuff. So I thought that was really interesting, that there was a deliberate attempt to de-emphasize him, even though he's obviously a huge part of why this record is the way it is. So I was going to show a few more records, but I feel like maybe this deserves to be its own. I'll just make another video showing the other stuff. And I'll talk to you then. Take care and enjoy your music.